Okay, let's say this is a SketchUp. This student modeled the tetrahedron. I've made it a component. Let's call it called tetra. It's small relative to the student, so this is scalable. Select component, select scale. You can scale it uniformly about any axis. So she could, let's turn on shadows here just to see, emphasize that. She could theoretically scale it about herself, around herself, right, enclosing herself in a pyramid, sort of like King Tut backwards. All right, so how do you construct this? Pretty simple. Turn off shadows. The first thing I'm going to do is draw a regular polygon with 3 sides. Polygon, n-sided polygon. You just click that, type number 3. Not sure what. So you see a little triangle shape there. I'm working at student scale here, if you will. So I'm using the center as the origin there. And you type. SketchUp has what's called stickiness properties. So geometry tends to stick together. I'm drawing lines from the midpoint of the sides to the opposite vertex. SketchUp snaps to midpoints. Right? So we have this shape. Incidentally, the camera projection is parallel here. You can also, whenever I'm building something, I change it to parallel, but you can also use perspective. That's not relevant right now, but just to clarify. So the pyramid's built by taking the point of the center and pulling it to the top. So we have to, because of SketchUp's stickiness, we have to eliminate the points from the sides to the center. If we go to an isometric projection here, and then use the Move tool, that allows us to select a single point, endpoint, right? That's the vertex of all of these. And then if I click the arrow key, I can constrain it to the blue axis. So there's a pyramid with respect, to the student. It's pretty big, I guess. Triple click this, make it a component, edit, make component, tetra, already exists, we deleted that. Alright, so I can scale this up and down, uniform about that point. I can modify it, I can change its properties by if you double click and enter into the sort of component edit mode, I can continue to play with the vertices, constrained in any direction, vertical direction here in this case. Anyway, close that component. Let's turn on shadows for effect. You can see relative to this citizen that This thing's pretty big. What can you do with this? Scale. I'm imagining that in a VR environment, the interface would be different. The student would be in some kind of immersive situation, and would have access to the points of this structure that she's building, and be able to perform the manipulations I'm doing here. So we're starting with this simple shape. I don't want to make this terribly long. We're able to conduct a lesson in very simple primitive geometry modeling, which is the basis of understanding 3D. Try to scale again. And if I continue to do this, there's this sort of student disappears within. You can see where she is by clicking X-ray mode. Right? So just imagine that person pushing, pulling the sides, doing what you will. Cheers.